Today we're looking at storyboarding and understanding what storyboarding is and taking a look at how you can create some storyboards. So we use storyboarding in a couple of different ways. It's a way to explain how to tell a story, think about the sequence of events, and create a visual sort of understanding of what happens before, what happens next, and that sort of thing. And so when we look at storyboarding, we're looking at using it in animation. If we create an animation, we want to know what is the sequence of events in our animation. If we're making a movie, even writing a story, if you're using writing, creating a long story, you probably want to use storyboarding before you go anywhere with your story, just so you can understand better what the sequence of events are, how you're going to represent those, particularly if you're doing it in a visual media. And it's a way to help you understand where there might be gaps in your story, help you understand what are all of the different components of your story, what things will go into that story. And so by creating storyboards, it kind of encourages us to think of all the things that we might not think of if we just start working willy-nilly without any kind of structure or any kind of plan. So think of storyboarding as just a way to come up with the plan of attack for whatever project that you're creating. I like to use storyboardthat.com. It's a online application. It's not free. It's free. You can do 2 a week for free. You probably won't do more than 2 a week. If you want access to more than 2 a week and all the different photos and stuff, you can pay. I have never paid for anything. You know how I'm about free stuff. But I want to show you how it works. It's not the only storyboarding method you can use. I do a lot of storyboarding simply using Chrome Canvas. You hear me say that all the time. I use Google Slides very often for storyboarding. I like to use those. But one of the nice things about an application that's designed for storyboarding is it comes preloaded with what we call the assets or the inventory that you need to create storyboarding. So where I might create storyboards on Google Slides, it's because I already have a massive amount of things to put in my storyboards to help me tell my story. You probably don't have that. I have a huge collection of stuff that you've been making for years. And so this is where these programs and apps come in handy, because they have collections of copyright free, which means when you're using these, if you create something you like, you can then post that, use that without fear of someone saying, "Hey, that's my copyright," and they're going to try to sue you over that thing. And so there's a lot of benefits to using these types of sites. So the first thing we want to start with is thinking about how many cells are you going to need? How many little scenes do you think you're going to need to create your storyboard? And you can add more. You can remove some. I like to start with about 6 generally. You can move them around once you've got them established. But what I like to do is sort of start with 6 basic cells, depending on the length of the story. Sometimes just 3 if it's a short little commercial type thing for an ad. But I want to think about what are the different steps that I'm going to show in whatever story it is I'm telling. And so this is one I've been working on that shows oops, sorry. Let me get back in here. That shows how to throw a pot on a potter's wheel, how to create a bowl or a mug, that sort of thing. That's one of the things I do on the side, if you will. And so a couple of different things that I can do is take a look at how. Let me get out of this. Oh. Let me get out of that. All right. I'm going to get rid of this. There we go. And so this is the first scene I've created. I want to show you sort of how I created it. This is a representation of my studio. The first thing you want to do is think about the background. And again, they've got a lot of different assets to choose from. You can come up here and choose scenes. You've also got characters, textable things if you want to add little text bubbles. There's shapes, infographics, web and wire frames, science, worksheets. You can upload your own assets to this thing as well. And then there's a great little search tool that you can search for things. And so we'll start with scenes. Once we see it, click on one of these categories, you'll see that there are lots of subcategories. So within scenes, you might want to have an entertainment scene, a home scene. There's historical scenes, classic homes, work, transportation, that sort of thing. And so I simply went to home indoor for mine because my studio is indoor. Once you select on a subcategory, there's also a drop down because there's lots of choices within that subcategory. Now, I like this one. And this is the one that's kind of as close to being representational of my studio that they have. And so if you'll notice, it's very different than what it is over here. So once you choose your scene, there's a lot of ways that you can adapt that scene. And so the first thing I want to do is my studio, my wall's on the left side, not the right side, the way I want to show it. So I do a flip here. You can flip it horizontally or vertically. You can rotate it if you want to turn it on its side. If your building is built on the side in this case. You can adjust layers. Where is this piece of the puzzle within the overall design? And then you can edit it. You can make it bigger, smaller. You can copy and paste it, that sort of thing. You can crop out areas of it as well. And so there's a lot of neat things you can do with it. We can click the edit scene, and once we get in the edit scene, there's a couple things I can do. Over here on the left are some adjustments that you can do to each of the different things within the scene. So the walls, and this one are kind of broken. Well, the walls of mine aren't broken. So I'm going to click clean, and that cleans them up. If I want to, I can make it look like it's nighttime. Lights are out, but no, it's daytime in my studio. If I don't want those windows to be solid, I can make them see-through. I'm going to leave it like that was. So I'm going to update my scene, and now you can see that's how I got my scene. Now, I've got the scene. What do I put in it? Well, the first thing I'm thinking, gosh, there's my characters to choose from. Now, again, they've got tons of characters that you can choose from. If we come over here, we can slide down. Do a little drop down here. You can slide down and see all of these great characters. I chose this guy because even though my hair's not really that long, I like he's got a beard and he's got the sweater on that I like. and so then once we choose the character, we can then edit it as well. So the first thing you should recognize is my guy sitting down because he sits on a stool. My arms, really should come out to the side. So let's go with out to the side. There we go. Kind of doing this thing, like where he's going to be making maybe the potter's wheel. It's not exactly perfect what I'm looking for, but pretty close. And again, storyboarding isn't necessarily the finished product. Generally, this is how we are established in the story we're going to tell as we do our stories. But you might also use it as a complete assignment if you are, like, say, creating your own little comic strip. This is a great way to create your own little comic strips, that sort of thing. My head was tilted. You can tilt your head. You can adjust the facial look. And this one I'm kind of beginning to get it a little bit. And so you can adjust. You can see I want to turn myself a little bit because I want to face this other direction. So there are lots of different ways. I can adjust the hair color, eye color, the jacket. I don't want to give myself that gray hair, but I guess I will. And so I can update my pose when I'm done. There are, again, lots of preset poses I could go for if I wanted to. I don't know what scared looks like on that guy, but I don't think I want to find out. So the other thing I needed was a potter's wheel. I mean, I don't have a potter's wheel, so what do? So I went up here and typed in pottery wheel. And when I did, It says, hey, do you want to upgrade? No, I don't want to upgrade. Thank you so much. But it did bring me up all kinds of things related to pottery and wheels. Color wheel. There's pottery here. This is a type of kiln. This is pottery. And so I could even take this bowl if I wanted to and put it over here on this desk to show, hey, this is stuff I can make using pottery. And I can adjust the size of it real easily. Ain't there? Oh, no. Hold on. Grab the wrong thing. There we go. Just the size of it. Put the bowl there on the table. So I'm going to come back over to this one. I've got that potter's wheel. I'm going to bring it down. And the thing is, if you'll notice, it's not facing me. The potter's wheel's on the other side of the table. So I'm going to come up here and use this rotate and spin it around. And now it's in front of me. And so I'm going to move it a little closer to me. Just like it is in my other scene over there. Alright. And so I'm going to bring myself down a little bit closer to it like it is in the other scene over there. Now, if you'll notice, I am sitting behind the table. The table's in front like it should be. I want to add a stool because my guy sits on a stool. When I sit on an old stool when I'm doing my pottery. So I type in, not stool. It's not story, stool. Let's try that again. And when I type in stool, I get all kinds of little choices, and I like this one. This is the one I chose. And I can adjust the size of it to make it the size I want. And I'll show you another way you can do this as well. But now, this isn't what I want, because now the stool is in front of me, and I'm not really sitting on it. That doesn't look right, right? So how can I adjust that? Well, I'm going to go back to my filter settings. Look at the layers, right? I can bring things back, send backwards, send forwards. And so if I send this backwards a couple times, if you'll notice, it goes back to the back side of me. So I can continue to add different elements to these scenes and continue to build out these scenes and create my story. That's how storyboarding works. That's how Storyboard That works. Try it out. Get used to it. I think it's something you'll like. Once you get done, click save and exit, and then you can come back and adjust it over and over again. Have a great day.